You're listening to Weekdays with Josh and Cole. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Weekdays with Josh and Cole. We had a little hiatus there, got real busy over the last couple weeks now. But Cole, we officially have the NFL now has started.
Football
actually.
Is back.
Thank God that it's back.
It's back.
Last night we had Houston and Kansas City. Look, guys, Kansas City has not lost a single step from their Super Bowl run. Cole, I think it's safe to say they are still the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, everything that I saw from Thursday Night Football from week one in the very first game of the entire season, yes, the Kansas City Chiefs look like they're going to repeat. And I don't know if that's depressing. As a Broncos fan, it's depressing.
Well, as a Broncos fan, yes. But also, on top of that, as just a fan of well-played football, like a well-oiled machine.
That was beautiful.
I'm okay with that.
That was beautiful. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So, can we talk about this dude for a minute?
Oh my gosh. He had 106 yards after contact.
NFL debut, ladies and gentlemen.
106 yards after contact.
This dude has Phillip Lindsay energy.
That's what I was kind of thinking too. He's like a fireball.
Yes.
Like he's almost shot out of a cannon when he comes out of the backfield.
So basically, if Phillip Lindsay went to LSU or running back U or
and
any
got
kind
the
of big
notoriety
university
type deal, you know,
this is probably what you would have saw out of him, especially if he didn't have to bust his butt in preseason and actually make the team. And honestly, who knows if we will even get a Phillip Lindsay type player? Anymore.
You're right. Well, especially
this season.
Yeah.
But and just what Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's going to reshape what a running back is.
I think he will.
5'7".
Yeah, I think he will. Hold on. Let's see him have a healthy season first, because it's game one. It's game one,
and the Chiefs obviously aren't going to give him 12, 14 carries every single game. He's going to burn out faster than a candle.
Yes,
but
I agree.
If that dude can give some kind of consistency to where he does get that 1,000-yard mark,
1,000 yards will be big for him.
Wouldn't you not say that he will be the next style of running back everyone looks for? Not only a guy that is super small and can sneak out into any kind of screen and play action, but I guess I want to say stocky, because he's a big dude.
Yeah, no,
he's shorter than even you and me, Josh.
He's got
We're 6 foot roughly, and that dude
that's giving me a few inches, but that's all right.
But still, anyway, you know what I'm saying.
When I wear my cowboy boots.
Twice our size just in pure muscle mass. It's pure. It's amazing to see him run the football, the way he changes direction. He doesn't have a ton of weight just bearing down on him that forces him into holes. He can stop on a dime.
Well, when you think of this, yes, first of all, but when you also think about a shorter running back, and I kind of think that Phil Lindsay, along with Christian McCaffrey, because that's been a knock against him his entire career in the NFL, is they just don't have the height or the size or whatever. But their center of gravity is so much lower than these big Derrick Henry, these big bruise, or Leonard Fournette, these big bruising backs that on paper, which Henry and Fournette are they're not busts by any means, but these smaller running backs, and I like to go all the way back to Barry Sanders, where he was a shorter running, he was like 5'9", 5'10", a smaller, shorter running back, but yet, like you just said, could stop on a dime. These guys have such a low center of gravity that they tend to bounce off these big tackles, and honestly, I think you could have a really, really solid career for Helaire. And
you see them controlling their weight.
Yes.
And you see them. You see guys like Leonard Fournette, and you'll see a big difference of this when you watch Monday Night Football with Derrick Henry and the Titans.
Yeah.
Watch Derrick Henry run the football. He's not going to stop, change directions. He's not going to just look for a hole.
He is a north-south.
He's north-south, pure north-south running back. And when I hate that south word, because he always goes forward. I rarely see that dude go backwards. So he's a north running.
I don't think he goes backwards very.
He goes
very
forward
often.
all the time.
Yeah.
But no, you'll notice that he doesn't change direction. He's going to power through people. He's going to drop his shoulder, and he's going to play some physical football.
Yep.
You look at guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, guys like Phillip Lindsay. They're not always looking for that big hit first. If they have to go get it, they can do it. They have that mentality.
They can absolutely do it.
And that's what Edwards-Helaire proved last night. But he also proved he's not afraid to just step around people and make people miss.
Why wouldn't you want that?
Exactly. Why wouldn't you want to save your body? But as you were saying before, you get guys like Leonard Fournette that are just pure muscle mass, and they want to just hit people. Yeah. That is how they made their money in
initiating
college,
the contact. That's what they did. They had those highlights of running over people.
Yes, and look at Leonard Fournette's highlights at LSU. That's basically all they ever were. He trucks somebody and then goes 10, 20 yards.
Look at his highlights last year alone against the Broncos, where he ran for 225 yards.
He even had that big breakaway run where he trucked basically every linebacker
every player on the Broncos
Todd
defense.
Davis. Man, I'm so glad Todd Davis is gone, by the way. And actually, let's go ahead and just transition that into the Tennessee Titans game, Broncos game, Monday Night Football. Drew Lock, he's obviously not going to look like Patrick Mahomes on Thursday Night Football.
No,
I don't think so. No. Now go prove me wrong, Drew. Go prove me wrong. I don't think you're listening to this podcast, by the way.
But what are you talking about?
I would love to see him go 288 yards, basically 80% completion rating. Yeah. 3 touchdowns. That would be fantastic.
If I could get 3 touchdowns, 1 interception from Drew, I'd be fine with that.
I'd be fine with that the whole season, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Now,
it's
I know
that
means 15 interceptions, but that means 3 touchdowns every game.
Yeah.
Would you not take that?
No.
That's
absolutely.
easy money for me, I feel like. And then you get guys like Phillip Lindsay that are not only have to step up like Clyde Edwards-Helaire did, he's going to have to almost be the key piece of this offense.
Well, let me stop you there really quick, because I want to talk about
Melvin Gordon.
Well, yeah, I want to say, who do you think is going to be the load-bearing back game 1?
See,
Gordon or Lindsay?
I think that's the problem. That's the problem mindset people are in right now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Not one running back is going to take over the complete load of what's going to happen. It's going to be a pure 50-50 split on carries. I really think.
You think so? 50-50?
50-50. Pure 50-50. And I will look back in the stats, obviously. We'll check back next week. We'll mark this in the podcast.
Yeah.
But 50-50, I really think if you see Phillip Lindsay out there in a lot of shotgun positions, you'll see him out there. You won't see him in the power back position, is what I'm trying to say.
No, but I also think
that means I formation. You will see him in pistol, but basically anywhere where Drew Lock is under center, that's going to be Melvin Gordon. But anytime Drew Lock steps back, that should be Phillip Lindsay.
Okay, yes, I agree with that. Well, honestly, I kind of like Melvin Gordon coming out of the backfield as well.
I like that too, but in the pistol formation. This is the future of football.
I hate the pistol formation.
I'm sorry. I love it.
If you're handing that off to either running back on either side of you, they're 9 yards into the backfield?
I get
that makes no sense to me.
I get it puts your offense in. It already sets your offense.
You literally
to
have to gain
like
fail. 7 to 9 yards to get to the line of scrimmage,
and I get that you're set up to fail in the pistol formation. But if it's done right, i.e., Air Force.
Yeah, but no NFL team prepares their way for Air Force.
I know.
I'm just saying, it's also not going up against college.
It's totally crazy, but that is kind of the future of football. I think Air Force perfected it, and now that's an extreme example. Yeah, that's all. That's all Air Force runs is pistol formation, and
they beat CU with it.
They beat CU with it, but that's
CSU.
That's the perfection of that system. Now, what I think the Broncos need to do is adapt that into an NFL style offense. I think that's what Pat Shurmur kind of wanted to do with Daniel Jones, but because the Giants drafted Daniel Jones, he couldn't do any of that. Daniel Jones is a pure arm strength thrower. He's going to sit in the pocket and he's going to chuck
He's like an Eli Manning 2.0.
He is Eli Manning 2.0. Yeah. Drew Lock is a totally different style quarterback.
Yeah, yes, but I also think in Pat Shurmur's defense, I think what he is used to, look, he had Saquon Barkley last year. With that, I think he wants the bigger back, so I'm thinking he's leaning towards Melvin Gordon.
But that's why they brought him in.
Do you think Melvin Gordon is a sole Pat Shurmur buy? Like Pat Shurmur was like, I want this guy.
No, I think that was a mix of everybody. It was one. I don't think people should look at it as this is the way so they don't have to pay Phillip Lindsay. No, this is a way to extend Phillip Lindsay's career.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
And honestly, this is the future of running backs. Bringing in a heavy style running back that does only play in I formations and power back situations versus a guy like Phillip Lindsay that you could throw in basically in any shotgun formation or even throw the dude at receiver. I guarantee the dude could step up as a receiver if you really asked him to.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. A solid, he could be, because he's the size of that, a solid slot receiver.
And see, to that point, that's the future of running backs. It's not about who gets the most carries anymore in an NFL style offense, because let's face it, it's an air show.
Yeah.
It's all about who can throw the football farther and who can make the biggest plays. You need running backs to make their own plays. Guys like Phillip Lindsay that literally can make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to watch. It's a beautiful thing to watch, but you can't do that all the time if you are the sole running back.
Well,
and
that's
it's because Melvin Gordon coming in, you now get to extend his career.
Yeah.
And that might even mean you get to save some money on him later down the line, because instead of a 3-4 year contract now for a running back, give Phillip Lindsay 5 and a 6th year option.
Yeah.
A really deep, long, basically veteran contract that almost guarantees he retires a Bronco.
That's kind of what they did with C-Mac.
And then save some money.
Yeah. So for me, I think the way, and actually Phillip Lindsay said this really well. He said, I don't need 30 touches a game to get my yardage.
No,
he
exactly.
goes, I can do that with I could do that with one run. He goes, I find the hole and I'm going to hit it and I'm going to get you 15, 16 yards.
Exactly.
So I think he said that very, very well, because we all know Phillip Lindsay was kind of outspoken about how he wasn't thrilled that Gordon got signed here.
Yeah.
However, I think he's also starting to see it can be a good thing to have two different styled running backs
and
on the same team.
I get it on paper, and at first it's really easy to look at this and react like, oh my gosh, Melvin Gordon's coming in. What does this mean for Phillip Lindsay? He's not going to get any kind of carries, blah, 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 blah. Look at last year. Phillip Lindsay got everything.
Yeah.
And you drained the dude. He already got hurt his rookie year because we did that problem. He basically had to be on reserves in the entirety of last year.
Yep.
This year, he doesn't have to do that. You literally have Melvin freaking Gordon, Flash Gordon, a dude that is going to be fresh as he can be, and he's going to be a stud for the Denver
Especially
Broncos.
because he held out for 8 weeks of last year?
Exactly.
So he played 7 weeks, and he is fresh. Like, he is a fresh running back right now.
And if you're placing any kind of bets or parlays or anything like that, throw in the Broncos, because one, the Titans defense is nowhere near what it used to be. They lost Jarrell Casey.
I agree
They don't have any linebacker
Who'd they lose Jarrell
depth.
Casey to again?
Oh, by the way, the Denver Broncos, who's going to have probably the best defense in the NFL.
I'd say it's top 5 for sure.
Exactly. And I don't get, Josh, why people are so nervous to say that. I've heard it on multiple airwaves.
Let's look at one injury right now.
Okay, Von Miller. But the dude didn't even get 10 sacks last year. And look at what the Denver defense was able to accomplish.
I don't care, because
I get he's a game changer.
Everybody talks about, well, he wasn't in double-digit sacks for the first time in his career. No, look at the film. That dude had double teams constantly.
Yeah,
So I'm just saying he was still a game changer last year. I'm still going to say that, and I will die on that hill.
And what is it in Madden? It's a fear monger.
Yeah, it's the fear, something like that. Like something like that, where it's still
like the quarterback is just so nervous because that player is on the field.
It's like when you have, let's put this in a baseball term real quick. When you have A-Rod coming up and he's played 20 years already and he just doesn't have the power that he used to. He's still Alex Rodriguez. Like, you're still scared.
You're not going to lollipop something over the plate.
Exactly. So with that, Von Miller, he had 8 sacks, which, by the way, Jadeveon Clowney has never had more than 10 sacks in his career.
We can get into that
season.
Contract,
but he's still. I'm not even talking about the contract. People still are very scared of him. So with Von Miller only having 8 sacks is a solid season. No, it's not a typical Von Miller season, but still a solid season. So he would have been. It's a major loss. It still is a major loss to not have him.
And, to be honest, it is probably the difference between having a top 10 defense and a top 5 defense. And I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. But my point, Josh, what can that not be supplemented with when you bring in Bradley Chubb, who I know he's not healthy now. I know he's not 100% at the moment.
He'll be on a snap count.
He's going to be on a snap count. But when you let that dog loose and you get a young, fresh, prime Bradley Chubb, basically what we could be seeing, what we did see with a prime Von Miller.
Yeah.
Would you not just take that as a supplement? And I know it's not complementing with a DeMarcus Ware type, which is what Von Miller would have been.
Yeah.
He would have been the DeMarcus Ware complement.
I think, so
I still think Bradley Chubb can carry the defense.
Well, I think Jarrell Casey's going to help him a lot with that. I just still don't think, when you got Chubb and Von coming off two opposite sides. So you got someone coming from the blind side, you got someone coming from and trying to beat the right tackle. Okay. So with that, I think it's tough for me to not just think that Chubb is just going to be double teamed this entire season. Because
but that's again to your point. That's what bringing in Jarrell Casey is going to help do.
Yeah, but he's not an outside linebacker.
No, and I get that. It's not enough. And that was the key with having
DeMarcus
Von
Miller,
Jarrell Casey, and Bradley Chubb.
Absolutely,
and that was going to be the 1-2-3 punch. That basically, no matter what, you're double teaming somebody, and whoever you don't double team, you got to leave him one-on-one.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest worry. And I get that's not going to be a problem anymore, but you still have to trust Vic Fangio. He was able to get a guy like Khalil Mack to shine, who didn't do basically. He was a good
Khalil Mack
rusher.
Is also a freak.
He's a freak, but he didn't shine near as much without Fangio as much as he did with.
No, but I'm just saying.
And
I've
look
seen
at what
that man.
Chicago is now.
I've seen that man throw NFL offensive linemen to the ground with one arm.
This dude eats 300-pound offensive linemen. It's insane.
Incredibly impressive.
I'm not knocking Khalil Mack's game.
No.
I'm just promoting what Vic Fangio did to Khalil Mack.
The best out of him. Guys,
and that's what he needs to do.
I completely agree with you, and I think that he will find a way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to be to the degree that he could have with the healthy Von Miller, just because Chubb is still going to be on, like I said earlier, a snap count. And he is. He's not fully healthy yet. And I think that's good. I don't want him to just go all out and end up getting injured again. You know, that's not what Fangio wants. That's not what Fangio's going to do. So with that, I think what we want to talk about coming up next, a little bit of predictions here with the games coming up on this weekend. We got a weekend full of games. Thank God we have a double header for Monday Night Football.
I mean,
you guys, it's back. Football is so back, and I'm so excited for it. We're going to talk about all that coming up next here. You guys are listening to Weekdays with Josh and Cole.
You're listening to Weekdays with Josh and Cole.
Guys, welcome back. We are in our second segment here on Weekdays with Josh and Cole. As always, I am Josh Grismer at I'm Joshua Owen on Twitter, alongside my trusty partner Cole Smith at Cole Smitty Smith on Twitter as well. Give us a follow if you guys enjoy getting updates on what's going on around in the sports world. Cole, we are going to give our opinions and give our best guesses, I guess you could say, as to what is going to happen on this football weekend. Cole, what games do we got first?
Yeah, Josh, we did pretty good at this last year.
I did.
Okay, well, yeah, we had
our ups and downs.
We did have a champion. It's debated heavily throughout the offseason. But we'll begin this again. We got to go through the list. We got a lot of interesting matchups, and I say that because it's the beginning of the season. Everyone has good players. Everyone has the hope of winning a Super Bowl again. Yes, even my Jacksonville Jaguars have hope of winning a Super Bowl. The division is crap, so there's a chance.
They are at the bottom of every professional commentator's list.
Oh, I know. And
the best
you can even put money on FanDuel at least. You can put money on them to go 0-16 to purely tank for Trevor Lawrence. I did put $1 on it. No shame in trying to win money when your team sucks.
It's such a bummer, though, because I still love Minshew so much.
Well, no, I'm wearing my Beowulf jersey. Gardner Minshew is the future quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, at least for this season. And the dude's not going down without a fight. No. And we can even start with that game. The Indianapolis Colts have to travel to TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville to take on Gardner Minshew and the Jacksonville Jaguars in a stadium that honestly they're used to being empty.
Yeah.
So I'm taking my own shots. And you can't make fun of me if I take my own shots.
But that's also, I don't know. Phillip Rivers is 58 right now. So with that being said, is Rivers really the quarterback? What are you going to get out of him that's better than Jacoby Brissett?
My biggest question going into the game is what is that very thing? What are you going to get more out of from him than you got from Jacoby Brissett?
And I asked this question to one of our coworkers the other day. Where else did Indianapolis try to even get better?
And
they didn't.
Not really.
They made no real changes.
You still have great receiver T.Y. Hilton. You still have great linebackers. A guy that was a rookie a couple years ago. I keep forgetting his name, but he's a great linebacker.
No, he is.
And they do have defensive pieces with the Colts. They have a team together, and honestly, you could argue they have the best
one-star O-lineman.
You could argue they had the best O-line in the entire NFL. Just nobody knows any of
how
linemen.
Though. I mean, the thing is, for
mostly
me,
because Jacoby Brissett just sits in the pocket all day and he gets rid of the football really quick. That's what he learned from Tom Brady. They didn't have a chance to really suck. That was the thing. That's what I didn't understand with everyone giving praise to the Colts. They didn't have a chance to suck. And their division sucks. The Jaguars suck. The Titans suck. The Houston Texans obviously still
the Titans went
suck.
to the AFC Championship.
The Titans suck, Josh.
Do you think so? Okay, let's talk about that real quick. Do you think they suck and caught fire, or do you think that they were a well-coached, which I do think they are a well-coached team?
Okay. They were very well coached, and that's what got them to the AFC Championship. But you can't look me in the eye and say Ryan Tannehill is a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Look, man, I can, first of all. I'm not saying he's going to, but I'm saying he has the capability of being that game-managing quarterback. Look, Trent Dilfer won, when you have a solid defense, which they do, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl with a similar, obviously the Titans are not even close to as good, so don't hear me that way. You can be a game-managing quarterback, which Peyton Manning was in 2015, and not a great one at that.
Hey, Gardner Minshew, you could argue, is a game-managing quarterback.
There are a lot of game-managing. Tom Brady, you could argue, we will find out this year whether he was a game-managing quarterback or not.
And that's the biggest question with New England, too, is that going to be a plug-and-chug system? But you get guys like Ryan Tannehill. You paid him all this money when you literally could have tried Cam Newton out for
better.
Cheap.
I think he's far better than Marcus Mariota.
I guess, but to me, the entire AFC South still is the trash division of the AFC.
Yeah. Well, what about the Texans?
The Texans, they suck. Look at what you saw on Thursday Night Football.
Okay, but that is against the Chiefs.
Bill O'Brien sucks. He is the worst head coach in the NFL.
I have no argument there.
Bill O'Brien is the biggest idiot. And he literally traded DeAndre Hopkins for a running back that, he played great. He played like I guess, Ring of Fame running back. He won't go in the Hall of Fame now because you played for the Texans, which sucks for you. But the Texans did nothing with that.
No, I agree.
Deshaun Watson, he can't do it by himself.
That's why Watson took the only 4-year deal, because he was like, hey, I could still be in my prime after this contract and go to a team that actually has a chance.
Jacksonville. I'd probably not, because we're going to say for Trevor Lawrence, but thanks, Josh.
I think the biggest thing in that, though, is Bill O'Brien. I don't know if he's power hungry, and getting rid of Hopkins was like his big power move as GM, but something is off with him where he makes zero sense in the moves he makes. I don't understand them.
There's something. He's a weird guy. He's a weird guy.
But weird at Penn State.
But to that whole argument, the Texans suck. The entire AFC South.
But they're also like the best worst team too, because they consistently get to the playoffs.
They're okay. Yeah, I will give them that. I will give them the award. They're the best of the dumpster fire of the AFC South. I mean, come on.
All right, let's move on from the AFC South then, because we've established this.
Yes, we got a lot of games, and we can kind of rapid fire through a lot of these, actually. Seattle at Atlanta. They got to go play the Falcons. It's Russell Wilson. Come on.
Seattle's going to win that one.
New York Jets at Buffalo. Buffalo's obviously winning this. Josh Allen
Jets
with
are a
Stephon Diggs.
Garbage team.
That's another thing, too. Sam Darnold sucks. Chicago has to travel to Detroit. That's an interesting trash game. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, because you got the quarterback in Trubisky that was chosen before both those other quarterbacks we just talked about, and Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. But also, the Lions have a new acquisition in getting Adrian Peterson, who, yes, he is still in the league.
I give that to Detroit. Chicago just seems like such a mess.
I do, too. That's what I was thinking as well. I don't know why. I have a man crush on Matt Stafford. I love the dude.
That dude.
And I think he would excel in any other team on any other team.
He has made the best out of possibly the worst situation any quarterback has ever gotten.
So I do. I'm going to give that one to Detroit because I still think Chicago's just an absolute dumpster fire.
Another interesting matchup, Green Bay at Minnesota. Minnesota has all of a sudden become probably the top 5 defense in the NFL.
They got one of your old boys,
Yannick Ngakoue. That sucks for Jacksonville.
So excited for. Can I just say how bad Jacksonville is that Yannick Ngakoue would take a major pay cut to get away from there.
I think that's honestly what really, just to take a second in this podcast, that really set it in for me. Yannick Ngakoue, arguably a Hall of Fame pass rusher.
He's had a solid career.
He's not too shabby. brought a literal trash organization to the brink of a Super Bowl.
Yeah. With Blake Bortles as your quarterback.
Yeah, that's another thing too. That really puts it into perspective when you're willing to take millions
of dollars,
$5 million, $6 million, maybe even $10 million, and a couple years off of your contract, literally just to say, get me the bleep out of here.
Yeah, that's when they say actions speak louder than words. That's one of the moments where he didn't really say anything, but what he did in the contract he got shows how much of a dumpster fire the organization of Jacksonville
and I still really believe a lot of that was Tom Coughlin, and we won't stay on this very much longer, but
what is his deal?
Tom Coughlin is just he plays old football, and I think that was the biggest thing with Jacksonville, and honestly, it gets rid of the old regime. It's no more about what happened in 2017, and I really like that because it was just driving me nuts that everyone kept bringing. It's the same thing with the Broncos. Oh, you won a Super Bowl 4 years ago. What the beep happened?
Yeah,
it's okay, I get it. Our team sucks. We went down the crapper. I understand. Like, we're working on it. So I like that it's changing. I like that Gardner Minshew's not giving up his fight. Yeah. I like that a lot of the rookies aren't giving up just their jobs.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that from the Jacksonville Jaguars. But moving on and down the list by the way, did you pick Minnesota or Green Bay?
I'm going to choose Minnesota.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. They got a better defense than I hate to go against Aaron Rodgers.
They still have Aaron Rodgers, but the guy, he's aging. And I don't think he has the supporting cast that he once had.
No, and they got to go to Minnesota. I get there's no fans, but that
Aaron doesn't have a great. He doesn't have it's still a winning percentage, but he doesn't have a great percentage of playing well in Minnesota.
Well, it's still traveling. Like I get
absolutely.
it. There's still a road to home away effect still going on. And speaking of, you got Miami going to New England. Miami.
They play well.
They always played New England well.
I don't know why.
And it doesn't even matter who the quarterback is.
No, well, also, let me tell you this. They still have Fitzpatrick, who was named the starter. Well, Fitzpatrick is the best quarterback in the league in the first 4 weeks of the NFL.
Yeah,
have you seen his
that is very
completion? It's like almost 100% in the first 4 weeks of the NFL season.
Does Ryan Fitzpatrick did he almost deserve? This is a conversation we can have another day. But does he deserve to go in the Hall of Fame purely as just the dude that extended his career?
Do you know who should actually is Josh McCown? Because he's still technically. Do you know what Josh McCown is getting right now? He's getting $12,000 a week to sit on the practice squad, and not even sit on the practice squad. He is at home being a high school coach, and they're letting him be on the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're saying it's not even a big if, it's a when Wentz gets hurt, because it'll be week 11. When Wentz gets hurt, we'll just have you as our backup, and you'll just come back for the last 4 weeks of the season, Joshy. Come on, buddy.
I know what's really sad about that. The Eagles would rather keep Josh McCown as a backup quarterback over signing Blake Bortles, who still has yet to sign with the team.
It's because, yes, first of all, that is sad. But McCown has been, when he's been on a team where he's had to play, he is a solid backup quarterback.
No, he's a game manager.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can play that role.
He's been a receiver. Did you know this? When he played for the Lions, he went out for 2 games, 3 games as a wide receiver.
Yeah, no,
and
the
has
dude's
passes.
a stud.
He's caught passes.
Yeah. No, the dude has a future in coaching. He's a great high school coach. I heard his team actually went. Win? They didn't win the championship.
I don't know if they won, but they went to one. And the dude, I mean, seriously, the guy has he's played 17 years. He's been on 15 different teams. Mm-hmm. I mean, the dude. Yeah, he's had to move a lot, but that is a Hall of Fame. If there's a backup quarterback that gets into the Hall of Fame, it should be Josh McCown.
Well, speaking of Hall of Fame quarterbacks, we'll finish on this game here. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. The NFL decided to just kick it off right out of the gate and test out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Brady or Tampa Bay or
whatever you
Tampa
call
Brady.
them. The Pirates are facing the Fleur-de-Lis, and that's got to be the most interesting game of the weekend.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I just think this week that the Saints are too poised. Look, the Saints didn't change anything, but Tampa Bay changed everything. So with that being said, the Saints know their offense super well. I think also the fact that the Buccaneers did not have the full off season. They didn't have OTA. They had nothing of that sort. So I'm going to give it to the Saints this week, but I'm incredibly interested to see how Tampa Bay plays this game.
Well, and you also have to look back. Tom Brady has publicly said he has not learned the new playbook quite yet. He doesn't have it completely learned, which honestly, I doubt any quarterback could learn a playbook that fast.
True.
And I think that just gives New Orleans that much of an edge. They have to win this home game.
Exactly why I've said nothing changed. I mean, Drew Brees knows that playbook like the back of his hand.
Exactly.
And they retained Kamara. They still have some of the best receiving core in the league.
And if anything, they just got better.
Yes.
The Saints, it's a unit that's getting better. They didn't make a ton of additions, but you could still argue. Exactly. You could argue that just aging made that group better. And the fact that they arguably should have went to the Super Bowl back to back. This is a year for the Saints to prove something. If you're and speaking of, it's way too early. It's the beginning of the season. Josh, before we get out of here, Super Bowl predictions. The Kansas City Chiefs obviously rocked the NFL.
That's my AFC. That's my AFC.
I figured that'd be your AFC pick.
Yeah, NFC, the Saints are looking real good to me. We will wait and see what blown call will keep them from the Super Bowl. But yeah, let's go with that. You know what? I'm going to say early favorites. It's going to be Chiefs, and maybe the 49ers could sneak in there again. Maybe.
I would hate to see that, like a literal repeat.
Yeah, I wouldn't want
Bowl.
that. I mean, that's Patriots 2.0, you know? Saints are looking good. I'd probably say 49ers or Saints. Seahawks also. I mean, the Seahawks.
That was my point.
Russell, count him out.
The fact that the dude got, I still don't believe this. The fact that the dude got one MVP vote.
That is the weirdest, most insane, asinine comment I've heard.
What kind of sports broadcasters only gave him one vote?
So you know what I think, and I don't think it plays into effect as much as it did in college, but a lot of the times I think when Christian McCaffrey was going in the Heisman voting, he played West Coast games, and none of those Heisman voters would stay up to see those games because they're all East Coast voters. Yeah. So I think a lot of those pro football writers who are the guys that vote for MVP are East Coast guys, and I'm not saying they're going to bed. I don't know if that truly plays an effect.
And they obviously do their research, but
totally.
I do think that
doing
that
research
live action
and seeing
effect,
it live are completely different things.
There is a live act. Like everybody saw the Chiefs live. If that literally happened at 11 a.m. on a Sunday afternoon, we do not talk about that game as much as we did.
Never.
So I do think there is something to that.
I mean, also look at Lamar. He's an East Coast player. Plays in Baltimore.
You know, Josh, I think there's something a little bit to that. That makes a lot of sense. He's my favorite to win MVP this year because
unbelievably
the dude's
good. And he's so consistent.
Yeah,
that's the thing. He's been doing this. Look, Lamar had a light up year. This is his third year in the league. Patrick Mahomes had a solid, obviously, second season, and a third season, but. The thing is what? Russell Wilson's in like his 10th year in the NFL.
And it's been consistently great.
It is so consistent.
He went to 2 Super Bowls.
He should have won the second one.
Should have won. If they gave the ball, he is one handoff to Marshawn Lynch away from a Super Bowl
I actually
ring.
saw a tweet today that said, this was last year, but I just saw it today. I don't know how. It said, Pete Carroll has now beaten every team in the NFL except for the Seahawks, and a guy quote tweeted that and said, wrong, he beat the Seahawks in 2014 when they should have won the Super Bowl.
And that just speaks to Pete Carroll. And by the way, the Seahawks do have a ring, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
We as Denver fans, I know we block it out.
We remember.
But there is some Super Bowl. I remember this. It's between 47 and 49.
Yeah.
Something happened that I'm pretty sure the Seahawks won. But I can't confirm that. But anyway.
He should have had
Anyway, Russell Wilson and the Seahawks are going to be really good. The Saints are going to be really good. The Packers, who knows?
They'll be good.
The Vikings are going to be good. The Broncos, I think, are going to be fantastic.
So real quickly, what's your ceiling for them? Win-wise?
Ultimate, I don't think they will get past 11 wins. So 10.5. I'll say 10.5 wins.
Serious? Wow.
Yeah. Okay. But my hopes and my expectations lie in 8-win season. If you can get 8 wins, that's all I care about.
So for me,
because to me, you win 8 games that you're supposed to, you can luck yourself into 2 or 3 more wins. That gives you that 7th seed.
So for me, I think their ceiling, top of the floor, is 10-6.
Okay,
and I think their bottom is 5-11, and I think they're going to be trending more to the 5-11.
See, my bottom is my 7 wins. I think they will get at least 7 wins.
Well,
this
look,
year.
if they can win 5 and then luck out 2, yeah, absolutely. So if their ceiling is 10-6, their bottom is 5-11, 8-8. Let's go an 8-8 season.
But that's my expectations too. I think Denver as a whole, Broncos country is happy with an 8-8 season,
and I think with the extended playoffs, 8-8 will get you in this year. I really do. And I also think last year I was way too over the top with how excited I was with Joe Flacco. I'm tempering the emotions. I'm tempering those. So I think they are going to go closer to 5-11.
Okay, it's an extended podcast. The NFL's coming back. We're extending this a little bit here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why you should be so much more excited for Drew Lock than for Joe Flacco.
I already know I should. I know.
Well, but just don't temper back your excitement then. Get excited for Drew Lock, Broncos country. Get excited for the confidence this dude brings
from what I've seen.
Into the huddle.
You can be as confident as you want. Look, Tim Tebow was as confident as you can be.
But here's the difference.
From what I've seen, literally just from practices, and I get he's going up against a top 5 defense, like we said, with his own Broncos defense, he is making very, very rookie mistakes still.
Okay, but let me tell you that.
He played just 5 games.
But let me ask you a question, Josh, that might just change your whole mind on the whole thing.
Okay.
Name the last Denver Broncos quarterback not named Peyton Manning or John Elway that the defense publicly came out and said, this is the guy.
I would probably say Jay Cutler, maybe Jake Plummer.
Maybe though. Maybe though.
I mean, I'm just thinking back. It wasn't Brian Greasy. It wasn't Kyle Orton. I think they did not like Kyle Orton.
Nobody did. Nobody
maybe
liked
Tim Tebow. Maybe because that dude was.
I never heard. I heard Von Miller praise Tebow for his ethics and what would Tebow do crap.
Everybody.
And that's just it. But I have never heard this much high praise for a quarterback in an offseason without a preseason, by the way.
I agree.
As the defense has given Drew Lock.
No, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I do want him to succeed. Obviously, I want him to. Just for my personal satisfaction this year and not embarrassment, I'm not going to go and be optimistic.
Well, you know what, Josh? You weren't optimistic about the Avalanche, and look what happened.
I'm going to be a realist this year. I'm going to be a realist this year.
Look what happened. The Avalanche lost because of your pessimism. It was your pessimism.
I'm still not over that.
I tried.
Oh,
Josh and Cole fans, I tried. Mark, you can listen back. I tried to put positive energy out into the air.
No, you just asked me if they can win the Stanley Cup. I'm not going to do that.
Your negativity,
you're the one that jinxed it.
Your negativity. It was your negative jinxes.
We're going to end the episode now. We're going to end the episode because I'm getting chewed out here.
Yeah,
look, guys.
That's perfect timing.
We have a lot of football. We're excited. I'm excited. Cole's excited. He's a little bit mad at me right now, apparently.
It's fine.
We're going to come back to you guys next week. We're going to talk about all these games from week 1, break down what we were right and wrong about, because we are known to be wrong about a lot of stuff here.
Phillip Lindsay carries.
Yeah, and I'm excited to actually see live Broncos action.
We get football back.
Finally.
We get more Denver sports back. It's exciting having literally every sport going on at the same time.
I'm beyond excited.
I don't know if you like sports, you're not getting a chubby right now.
Cole's excited. I'm going to leave that comment alone. we're Josh and Cole. We'll see you next week.